Hello and welcome to one more episode with me, Samer. So, this week was super exciting. We've got lots of news, lots of exciting things happening with OpenAI and other companies. So, today's episode will be all about AI news. And before we get started, if you're excited about AI, you want to always be updated, and you want to actually use the technology, and you don't have any coding skills, well, you're in the right place because that's exactly who I am. I try to help people like me who have no deep coding or technical skills to actually work with AI and other pieces of tech, build things with it, and hopefully through that, I help you gain knowledge, experience, and exposure that would help you in your life and hopefully your career as well. And with this, do not forget to subscribe and let's get started.
Subscribe to Daddy's channel. The mic.
For the first update, ChatGPT search is out, at least for Plus and enterprise users. So this was through an OpenAI post on X where it was introduced and telling people basically you can go and access it. Before I show you the feature, I actually wanted also to have a contrast. For me, when it comes to searching with AI, I always use and I always recommend Perplexity to everyone. It's amazing and it has access to APIs, something that OpenAI are still not offering for ChatGPT search. Maybe later. But to show it to you, I wanted to actually pin it against Perplexity. So we do a comparison in prompts between ChatGPT search and Perplexity AI and see how the results look for the same prompt. Maybe it will tell us where actually both of them fall, who's better when it comes to AI search. So when you open the ChatGPT window on the web browser or the application, you're going to see now the globe over here, which is a trigger to decide if that prompt you're sending to ChatGPT is a request to search on the internet or not. So basically, if you want to search on the internet, you'll click it, it will become blue, and then whatever prompt you put in, you will get online search results from ChatGPT based on the request that you put in. So let's put the prompt here, and then we'll take the same prompt to Perplexity AI and test both. The prompt I put in is give me all the mention-worthy AI news in the last couple of weeks in October 2024. So let's hit send and see what we get. It is super fast, as you can see. I played with it before. It's amazing how fast the inference is happening. I don't know what they're doing in the back end of this, but it's definitely faster than Perplexity, even without testing. We're going to see what Perplexity does now, but this is super fast. I am not sure also if it's as comprehensive as Perplexity. So let's look at the results that it provided. OpenAI's advancements, ChatGPT with search. Basically what we're talking about here, and then the funding and valuation of OpenAI. I would have expected more topics, honestly. This is limited. I think there are more mention-worthy topics, as you'll see in today's episode. Microsoft's AI initiative, Copilot enhancements, okay, and then CEO's perspective on AI, okay, interesting. Google's AI integration, code generation, CEO, yada yada. Google Maps, legal and ethical. It's the typical ChatGPT tone, if you ask me, with internet access. But I think when it comes to speed, definitely it's ahead of Perplexity, and we'll see Perplexity now with the same prompt. But in terms of content, in meat on the bone, basically, I don't think it is. So we'll see what Perplexity does with this, so we can move on to new pieces of news. But I think we're going to have more and deeper results when it comes to Perplexity. So let's move to Perplexity AI, and I'm going to enable the Pro, and I'll paste basically the same prompt. Give me all the mention-worthy AI news in the last couple of weeks in October 2024, and I'll hit go. And you'll see here it will take more time as it search. Many times I see it looking into things like Reddit, which I like, but let's read the results and see. Robotics and AI advancement. Boston Dynamic released a new video showcasing their Atlas humanoid robots. Okay. Universal Robots announced the UR AI accelerator. Okay, some other news. AI in business and industry. Accenture invested in Reality Defender. Okay. Anthropic AI expanded its capability to include writing and running code, moving towards more advanced AI agents. SnapLogic unveiled its new SnapLogic agent creator. AI research. Okay. IBM. AI adoption, a report about Stibo systems. It had totally different kind of results, but it didn't even mention OpenAI. So I'll ask it to focus on OpenAI And I'll go do the same thing with ChatGPT just to see the results. So again, it's looking at all the sources and let's see what we get out of it. The difference in speed is not huge, but it is noticeable. So debunking of the Orion AI model rumor. Okay. Launching a new ChatGPT search feature. So, okay, that's mentioned now in some more detail. AI collaborative and fellowship program. So let me go to ChatGPT. And again here, I'll ask it what about OpenAI specifically. Let's see what we get. So it's talking about search integration. Again, the same topic, financial development, strategic initiative. So custom AI chips. Okay, it's collaborating with semiconductor firms. Okay. Paris office expansion, operational challenges. So this is interesting. I read it. This is Sam Altman saying that compute is basically their bottleneck in OpenAI. I don't know what your thoughts are. I think at least when it comes to generic search, maybe we need to change how we do our search. Maybe this is a change even for us, because when you go to Google, you tend to give these kind of brief terms to get search results. Maybe it's not the way to use it with AI. You need to be more prompting rather than searching. When it comes to the generic one we started with, I think ChatGPT gave us something generic, very fast, while Perplexity gave us something more specific, not so comprehensive. It shows you it's not as comprehensive as you would expect from Perplexity, but I would say it gave more flavors when it comes to the results that it returned. So just interesting. Now we have two amazing AI search engines, two options. I don't know what Google will do about that, because we all know that Google, I think, makes lots of money out of their search engine. I'm tending to use that less and less and less. And now with ChatGPT having search access, and remember, you get the resources here. You get the sources or the citations. So you can just click at those and start reading. I'm not sure what Google has to do with their search engine. The way it's happening with all the sponsored spammy ads that people hate, they need to do something else. And they need to do it in a way that they don't shoot themselves in the foot when it comes to the money they get from those ads. Okay, moving on. Claude or Anthropic, they dropped their desktop app. I'm going to download it, show it to you. Personally, when it comes to these AI desktop apps, it's nice to have, but the ChatGPT one, for example, I don't use it. I tend to do more through the browser. I don't know about you. Write me a comment in the comment section if you have an opinion on this, but are you using it actually, these kind of desktop applications for AI models? Or is it something just an extra? Unless Anthropic at some point enables, for example, what they did in computer use, which I showcased in a previous video that you can watch, that feature, if it's enabled through their desktop application where I can have actually the model control my computer, then definitely it's worthy. Otherwise, 99%, actually 100%, I'm using the browser because I have other tabs open. I can move things around, quickly go back to that tab where I have Claude. I have multiple ones opened. So it's much better. I don't know. So let's just download it. I'll show it to you and then we'll move to the next piece of news. So I'll hit Mac OS here. We'll get the file downloaded. You can see it. It's downloading here. It's done. Let's double click it. Let's double click it again. And now it's opened. So I'll have to log in with my account. And now it's open. So this is the application. It looks everything like the web view. So you have the side panel here. You have the project. You have the open exchanges with it, the open sessions. You have them here on the bottom. You can have a drop down and select which model you want to use. So it's pretty much the same. So nothing much in terms of features. It's the same. Again, I prefer to use the browser. Tell me in the comment if I'm doing something wrong or there's something I'm missing, but I prefer the browser. So moving on, this is a quick one. Remember when they dropped Computer Use and Haiku 3.5, the new model, they said by the end of the month, I assumed it was October itself. Now we're November. We don't have it yet. I don't know if something misunderstood in their announcement or it is actually a delay for them to deliver, but it's just something interesting. I keep checking because I want to test that model and see how it works. Till now, we don't have it. Now going to something more interesting in Anthropic. So they have dropped the analysis tool. So they have dropped it last week and they talk all about it in this post here. I'll include the link in the description. But basically, you can provide now the Claude 3.5 Sonnet, the new one, with CSV files, with data. It will do analysis for you, and it will use the artifacts ability and give you certain graphs that could explain the data within that CSV and do much more with that. Part of it also is running simple code for you to give you some outcomes. So that's powerful. I think ChatGPT had it for some time without the graph thing. That's really interesting. So let's test it for ourselves. Let me go and attach the dataset that I got online, which talks about the user behavior when it comes to using mobile devices, mobile sets. I'll give it a prompt and then we'll see what we get. So I want to start with something vague. And I think this is where the value of having such a feature with an AI model like the 3.5 Sonnet, because with just a high-level kind of prompt, you can get lots of insights in a huge data set that you don't want to actually dig through yourself. So I'm just asking it, explain to me this data in charts. So let's hit go and see what we get. So you can see it started running some code and it's looking at the content of some of the parameters of that data set, looking on some of the values, and it should in theory create certain charts that would explain the content and correlation between some of these kind of parameters within that data set. And we have something, and it's really interesting. Again, remember, this is a single line of a prompt to an AI model and a huge data set attached to it. So it shows the device usage distribution, some of it with percentage, some of it not. So it's not the best visual, but it's definitely better than nothing. And then it has the user behavior classes. This is very high usage. I assume this is very low usage. Age distribution. So you can see the age brackets here. And I think this makes sense. The 26 to 35 is using mobiles the most. And then, okay, we have the operating system distribution and usage. Clear enough, we have less iOS users than Android. I don't know what's the difference. Okay, so the green is average usage and the purple is the users in the dataset. So here 560. So it's a dataset clearly with around 700 rows, which is significant, but it basically did a first run of analytics through one prompt. So that's a really good feature to have. Okay, moving on. So this is interesting. Now you have the advanced voice model also on the desktop application, which we don't use. So if I'm going to use this advanced voice model, I can use it on my mobile, but now they're showing it on your desktop application. So let me try it out on my application, my desktop, and see how that works. This is my desktop application for ChatGPT. I'll just click the voice assistant here. So let's see how big we can get this thing. Oh, hey, hi there.
Hey, Samer, how's it going? What's new with your YouTube channel?
Well, everything is good. I'm actually showcasing you, the advanced voice model, on the ChatGPT desktop application. So that's a new feature that OpenAI dropped, and interesting one. What do you think about it, by the way? Do you think the desktop is something that has a future? Because I tend to use the OpenAI user interface through the browser, never through the desktop application.
That's exciting! Showcasing the voice model could really engage your audience. As for the desktop app, it adds a layer of convenience for those who prefer a dedicated workspace or want to avoid browser clutter.
You've seen it working. It tells you that the desktop application works for convenience. That's good. Let's go back to the news. And then let's go to some OpenAI developers update. They added new voices to the real-time voice API endpoint. Something interesting if you're working on that. I've done a couple of videos on the real-time API. Go check them out. But now we have more voices if you have serious projects when it comes to that. Things that might be more suitable for your preference. So that's one interesting thing to know about. And then one more update from OpenAI developers, which is the basically AI to help you do more AI. So they added a feature where you can leverage OpenAI AI models to help you give the assistant instructions or prompt and create that with ease. Now, this is a really good feature if you ask me. I use assistants a lot. So if we go to my dashboard in OpenAI, and this is my assistants, I do a lot of modifications. This is the great thing about dealing with assistants. If you link it especially to an application or automation, you don't need to change things in the application. If you need to do some fine tuning, you can actually do the whole thing within the assistant interface in the dashboard for OpenAI. Now, this is my assistant, the name, and then the system instructions. So you can see this small logo over here. If we click it, we get kind of a window where I can give instructions of, and by the way, this is similar to Canvas. I can say, I want this to be modified within my assistant instructions, and it will go ahead and do it for you. So let's just give it a quick look. So for this assistant, these are the instructions. This was part of a video I did before. So let's hit generate here. So I will send it, include an introduction to my instructions for my assistant's context understanding based on your understanding of the existing ones, basically the existing instructions. And you hit update and just give it a little while and you'll have the whole thing modified. So you can see it added some kind of an introduction for context, and then the same instructions are still there. And you can simply hit save and you have modified your instructions. So it's not a huge update, I would say, but it's definitely, if you deal a lot with assistants, definitely will help you get more high quality instructions. You have to play with it again and see how the assistant behaves. And this is just much easier, probably a higher quality way to do these things. For the next one, again, an OpenAI developers update. Basically, this is not a huge news, but I think it's very interesting. The chat completions API supports audio now. Pass text or audio inputs, then receive responses in text, audio, or both. I think this will make using audio when it comes to the new OpenAI models much easier for most people. I looked into the real-time one. Again, as a non-coder, it's complex to deal with unless you're basically forking an existing repo and just modifying it. But again, remember, this is different from the real-time API. And the real-time API is real-time, quote unquote. So it's faster, much more responsive. This is just an easier way to interact with audio through a different or more common API endpoint. I don't know if there's any cost implications or advantages to using this or that, but this is just one more option you have to use that straightforward completions API endpoint that OpenAI offers. Last but not least, I wanted to keep Meta in the mix. They've been doing a lot, but now they have actually went and announced the Meta Movie Gen, so an AI model for video. So you can check, I'll put the link in the description. Actually, I'll put all the links in the description if you want to read more about these things. But if you go here, you can see interesting bites of video or clips of video that are supposedly developed from this AI model by Meta. So you can see some more here. Really interesting, really good quality. I mean, if I look at that, it might take me a little while to really look into the details of the footage to say it's AI or not. Again, all these big players, notoriously OpenAI with Sora, keep talking about these text-to-video models or video-to-video models, and shipping is something else. Hopefully Meta will actually ship this out soon so we can all see it, play with it. But go check it out. The kind of video content they're putting out there as outcomes of this model is pretty crazy, pretty scary actually. If you're in media, probably you're excited. Depending on where you're operating within media, you might be also panicking as you look at this. Really interesting. So generate video from text. Again, these are purely from text prompts. So you can see this puppy is chilling and this donut drinking something nice. Really scary results if you ask me. It depends. When they ship out, will it be that good? We'll see. I don't know if this is part of the AI race that's going out there, but definitely interesting. Go check it out. You can see here it's the same footage edited through this model. So all interesting stuff. Thank you for watching. Definitely really interesting couple of weeks in the world of AI. If you have any comments or questions about what I've showed, just write me a comment in the comment section. Do not forget to subscribe. It's free. And with this, thank you and have a great day.
Subscribe to Daddy's channel. Give me the mic.